Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from the Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back, and as usual, we try to share more knowledge and understand more and build on what we discussed so we understood before. In the past few weeks, we tried to bring things into matter to understand and to realize that the structure of the body of the man, the structure of the universe, the structure of the creator cannot be any different from each other. One is in macro, is in micro, as we always said. But understanding the proportion, understanding the work, understanding the way they come together to create such a condition and position. In the cycle of the body of the man, as we said a few weeks ago, you have the three layers, which that layer has a physical manifestation of the surface skin. And then you have the middle skin, which connects the outside to inside. And then you have the inside, which controls the field inside it. This is how you create the isolation and insulation of the body of the man. There is no lock and keys on each section, but due to interaction with the fields of their environment, this material expands, contracts, destroys itself and rebuilds itself because it cannot carry on to keep the separation. It's like when you have a water dam and you get a hole in it, you go and patch it up. And you have to bring all sorts of materials to patch it up. And then you make provisions for the patchwork. What material you can use, which depth of the dam has got a hole in it, and the rest of it. But in the body of the man, now because too many holes has been made on this dam skin of the man, brain has already restructured itself. This is how we're going to handle it. It's going to get weak regularly, so we resurface it every 28 days. We change the cells. This is the optimization that this thing can keep everything else outside the surface. And when we see intrusions like burning the skin or cut off the skin, then we send emergencies to cover it. There's structure of the fields which calls for additional fields to do. This is exactly what happens in the world of the creation. But we don't see it because we are too occupied with the present structure of our physical life. And with so many misleading information and knowledge which has been gathered and then passed on like a Chinese whisper, the technology and the knowledge of the man about himself, his environment, his galaxies, and the rest of it is so muddled up that nobody knows which part is the truth, which is not the truth, and which one actually works. And most of the time, nobody makes a connection. And this is part of the work of the Keshe Foundation, to bring you to see the totality. What you see in the structure of the body of the man, containment, physicality. In the universe, we see the stars, we see the galaxies. That's their physicality. But in a way, they all coordinate into one center. We call it as a kidney, we call it the Milky Way. There's no difference. This Milky Way, like the kidney, has a purpose in that structure of the bigger universe. It could be a cell in the kidney of the creation of the universe, or it could be a liver part. We have to understand this. And the only difference is if you put so many millions of the cells and billions of cells to make the kidney, you see a galaxy has got billions of stars. There is no difference. And once we start looking at this structure, we understand more about the creation and the creator and how they work and how similar they are, because they're all connected to the same line, through the same line, and because of the same line of the magnetic fields. So when we look at the structure of the man, we see the skin. In the universe, we see the universe, the outer boundary of the universe. This is what don't forget, we are looking from inside out. We don't know what's happening outside. We are not aware of it. We are like a kidney in the body of the man. We don't understand where the liver is. There's arms and there's other parts. We are only concerned with what we are, part of a kidney, a cell in there. A galaxy is that cell. And then we understand more and more. And then it comes to the point, as I said in the teaching a few weeks ago, and I drew it on the pad that you could see it clearly. You have the flare outer skin, you have the inner skin, the middle skin, and the inner skin. And then it's the same. You have the physicality of the man, you have the soul of physicality of the man, and then you have the soul of the man. If the three layers of the skin are to protect and in a way cover what's inside the content of the physicality of the man, so what does that soul in the center covers? Because that's the three layers of it: the physicality, the middle, which is the soul of physicality, and the soul. In the body of the man, the inner layer contains the body of the man, whatever is in it, the lymph, the liver, the kidney, and whatever. So what does the soul cover? What is it protecting? And then it comes to the same point. We see the physicality of the galaxies. We see the stars, planetary systems in it. And then there is a center soul, center part. We call it the black hole, but it actually is the source of its life. What is that protecting? And what is its connection to the central soul of the man? Because that center dictates how much material can be in the center of the soul of the man from the origin. Then it comes to the other point, is that all these galaxies, whatever come together, making this universe, they are, let's say, a part of the organ of the kidney of the creator. That's the structure. So what does that do? How is it connected to the creator? Then you understand we are all part of the same structure. There has to be a physicality in a dimension we cannot imagine, but we are part of. A cell in a kidney of the man cannot imagine it's part of a kidney and then imagine it's part of being a human. We are in the same process. We are that cell inside that cell of a kidney. Then you understand. The only parallel is that we understand in micro or macro, one or the other, and understand the relationship, understand the connection. How does the lymph in the body of the man transfers energy into the bone marrow? That lymph, that liquid, transparent material, is like the gap between the galaxies. It carries the energies which feeds the galaxies, which keeps them in order. But we never had the mentality to understand. We never could extend our understanding of the process of the creation. This is what I said before. We consider, to our eyes, there is nothing between the galaxies. It's an empty space. 90% of the space that tells us is empty is that lymph, which carries all the nourishment for the whole galaxies, for the universe to operate and operates through and within. What does our galaxy put into the lymph system, into the space gap between another galaxy, what we call the empty space, empty gap? Now we understand there is no difference. It's just that our limitation of understanding the process of the creation has brought us the prejudice of understanding the totality. Otherwise, it's the same. How much energy is within the lymph? How much lymph takes everything and distributes it according to where it's needed? That lymph is the space gap between the galaxies. But what does it carry? We know the lymph carries all the energies from our body into the right position, transfers everything through our bone marrow to become our immune system, and then becomes every cell created. It's a self-regenerating system. We eat, we transfer the energy into the liver transfers it through the bone creates the red blood cells, which red blood cells make tendon, arrange the structure of the skin of the man, and then the skin of the man separates everything and keeps everything inside. So the process of the creation cannot be any different. They tell us so many percentage, 90%, 80% of our body is liquid, just water. That's the length of it. Water is not the H2O tangling, it's distributed across the cells, distributed around the lymph, and this is how the structure works. So, isn't that the same? They tell us 90% of the universe is galaxies and the rest is empty? Now you understand how much we've been misguided, how much our scientists never understood, and they came up with loads of fallacies that to us now to accept the next step is very hard. But once we understand it, we accept the knowledge of the creation, we find out how much we've been cheated, how much we've been lied to, how much our scientists of the past were so misguided in their own knowledge or never understood that they misguided us. This is one of the biggest problems for humanity, understanding the totality and finding comparison to understand where he missed, what he missed. So in this process, if you understand how a lymph comes from the absorbing the energy of the food, whatever you absorb, or the structure inside you, and takes that information, that material, through to the bone, through the kidney, through to liver, then you find out you can do the same for your transmutation. You have to link up to the lymph of the universe. Then you understand, by dictating the right field strength, you'll be absorbed by the kidney. You're creating the right field strength, you'll be absorbed by the liver. Right field strength, you'll be absorbed by the brain. So you do that with your soul, which is your central energy production, not with the food you eat. You work in the collective environment of the fields. Now you understand how the transmutation, transportation, physical body, all connected to each other, be it in the body of the man, be it in the structure of the universe, be it in the structure of the universe. And as you open up your mind, as you understand more, then you understand the fantasy of the Big Bang is nothing but a hot cake from the brain of a guy who never understood a thing anyway. The biggest bang was in his head. As always said, an apple brought Newton to understand gravity. A bang came to the head of a guy who brought more ignorance into the world of science. One enlightened us, and one put us in doldrum of what are called misguided knowledge. This is why, if you understand how ridiculous this structure of the what are called Big Bang is, because you're knowledge seekers, you understand very simply, does a Big Bang happen in the womb of the mother, which creates a child? Do we see Big Bangs all the time around the universe when the star is created? No. It's little by little. Energy is absorbed little by little. That cell absorbs little energy from its environment, from the womb of the mother. It becomes a kidney. It absorbs more and more. It becomes part of the bone and absorbs more and more of the environment and it structures the man. Was there a Big Bang? Even our own scientists tell us the sperm has to be pushing itself to get into the egg to fertilize it, to create a first cycle. This is now you understand how these misguided people have created so much that has brought us to believe in misguided knowledge. If a Big Bang ever happened, then there is a Big Bang in a life of every creature of the man, a child of the man in the womb of the mother. The womb of the mother is the universe. Now you understand how we pick from the knowledge what we like, we understand, but we have not been given the intelligence or guidance to see the comparison. As much a life of a child is a creation of a new universe as is creation of another universe in the world of the universe. Then you understand. We come through process of interaction of the fields. We are created out of it. And then from it, we create ourselves, which is the creation of the soul of the man, which then becomes part of the structure of the creation of the bigger structure. If one cell missing on the skin, you feel the pain. Body has to repair it. It's the same as one piece missing in the universe. It has to be built. It has to be there. And in a way, as we restructure our skin every 28 days done automatically, it's the same thing happens with the soul which this greenhouse of the planet Earth creates. These souls are destined position. The skin of the universe needs certain distinct process in a given position to be ready because its cycle is finished. A cat dies, a king dies, a man on the street dies, a tree gets cut on, burned, and dies. That soul is prepared, ready for that position of the skin of the universe, that energy position to be replaced. This is the purpose of the creation. This is the purpose of understanding the totality. And not, oh, we are different because we are human. We are different because we are ignorant. Our only difference is the ignorance of the creation to fit our own little imagination, misguided imagination. Then they say, what's the purpose of life? What is the purpose of that single cell on your skin? It's to keep you alive, to keep the cycle of life going. So now that soul is that little thing which needs to be at a given position because it's needed to replace the new, replace to become the new, replace the wounds. As I said, in the world of the man, we see, okay, a needle goes through our skin by accident. We feel the pain, we take the needle out. In the world of the creation of the earth, we call it the meteorite. In the structure of the galaxies, we call it galaxide, which means particles from the outside the galaxy come inside. We have the same process on the boundary of the universe in the unicos. Energies, fields, material of the bigger dimension enter the unicos. Create wounds, create injuries, create dimension of the creation. They need to be done. Then we say the guy accidentally died. Just accident happened. Yes, something hit somewhere. There is a need for an emergency replacement of that seed for it to cover it. It might take in the time of the man maybe 1 billion years to do it, but in the life of the cycle of the universe, it's microseconds of it. And then you understand why some of us die accidentally, why some of us die without any reason, why there's a purpose that we live 70, 80 years, because the skin of the universe needs to change every, let's say, 28 days of the universal cycle. And now we are prepared, we are ready for that position. 80 years of the man, 70 years life of the man creates that position for the soul to be ready, to be part of the bigger structure. Now you understand when I tell you, perhaps for many years, that the soul of the man becomes that star. The soul of the man becomes that galaxy, because that star is in that position in the universe to cover the dimension of the physicality of the universe. Your skin doesn't just appear. Somewhere creates a cell ready for it, that under 28 days or whatever, to be there to replace is your time off. I take over, and what is taken up adds to the other energies or fields or become part of the material of this planet and used by the others as energy. Then you understand the purpose of life. There is no day of judgment. The judgment is made if your soul becomes a creator of the galaxy, if your soul becomes creator of a star, if your soul becomes creator of that dust, which is nothing. What's the purpose of 70, 80 years, 50 years on this planet and become nothing? We are proud that we are a doctor. We are proud that we are a professor. We are proud that we are the head of the street cleaner. We are proud that we are the chief whatever. In the level of the soul of the man, you're proud to become that star. You're proud to become that galaxy. And then you understand the purpose of life, the purpose of the creation. Then you understand there are no coincidences. There are no accidents. Accidentally, if it is accidentally, you accidentally cut your arm, the skin, then accidentally there are cells who come there to repair it. Accidentally they are there that make it outer skin. Accidentally they seal the wound. Those cells came, you just look at them, oh, the blood vessels and God knows everything else, blood, everything else, and the lymph came and they sealed it. But every one of those is a cell. It has a soul. It has a center which receives instruction from the river. You got to be there. There is a cut. You have to seal it. And millions of us go there to seal it. This is why man dies in thousands every day, because there's always need for replacement. This is why I kept on saying that this planet is not a greenhouse, it's a growing house for that purpose. And we are not the only planetary system with such a structure. The universe is huge and it demands huge replacements, huge recreation of life. Then, what is the purpose of me living? To become the soul that become a patch cover of part of the universe. But in that patch, I create a beautiful life. I create a beautiful life for the others within it. I give. I never expect to receive, because this is a part of the process of the creation. Now you understand how the teachings of past few weeks come to show you what you are, and how you can use this, the way the lymph uses the energy from the stomach to reach it to the bone to become a bone marrow, uses energy transfer, direction where is needed. What field needed from which hole on your bone to create whatever cell in the body. And it's due for that much to come. So if you understand this, is preset, pre-tuned to give the strength from the lining of the stomach to the what we call entrance to the size of the hole, which can allow that energy to go through to become bone marrow in the center of the bone. So it uses transmutation of the system. Transmutation of energy of the system, because the lymph is always there. It just takes it and delivers it. This is how, when you feel thirsty, suddenly with one sip of water in your mouth, the rest feels satisfied. You transfer energies of it. Your physicality of it is more or less nothing else. It's just the process to be done. And then you understand how you transfer your soul, the transmutation, understanding the work of the lymph. You understand the work of the transportation through galaxies, through the spaces which they tell us is empty. As I said, if there is emptiness in the body of the man, you find emptiness in the universe. In the lack of understanding of our scientists, we call him the space is empty. But when you look at the inside the stomach of the body of the man, when you open it, you see lymph. And the cells are floating and they're living amongst it, within it. Now you understand how simple the cycle of creation is. It's just the order of magnitude, the size of the thing, and nothing else. And once we understand this, it becomes easy to transmute, it becomes easy to transport, it becomes easy to do both at the same time. Be energy in one place, and by coming through a conversion, become matter in another place, and going back out of another position through a nano layer of the bed of the bone, become again energy in the dimension of conversion at the point, the place and time. Now you understand how simple the cycle of creation is. How we are created, the reason we are created, why we have a soul, why we structure ourselves that way. And then once we understand this, everything else about the work of the Keshe Foundation becomes easy. How energy is converts to matter, how energy converts into gas, how energy converts into liquid. These are all different processes of the creation manifestation. Does not, if we created the right strength, it'll end up to be the cell of the liver. If you change and create the right strength, it become a gas in your stomach. And if you create it in the right strength, becomes the saliva, water in your mouth. But in essence, you didn't drink a water that is for saliva only. You didn't drink a water that is only for a cell in the liver, and you didn't drink a water that it becomes a gas in another part of your body. And then, if you understand this process, by changing the dimension of the positioning of the body of the man, you see how you can convert the gas into liquid and the matter. Then you understand only you need to take the energy from the universe, from the universe, and convert it by different interaction of the soul of the man into energy, which then can convert itself into different part of the body of the man, which means you do not need to kill, you need not to destroy, because you haven't learned to tap in a bigger energy. And this is the whole process of the teaching, how to tap into universal energy, to become part of universal community, that this brings what we call peace. Peace to the life of the man. Peace to humanity. And understanding man does not take a life to be alive. Man needs to be part of the work of the universe to be alive. As I said once to a child, maybe you understand. If the energy of the cosmos, universe, can feed the galaxy, you don't think it can feed the soul of the man? Then, if that can be done, if you understand how to do it, you need to kill for it. Or you, through the same structure, connect to every cell, soul of the body of the man, and you feed it through his soul. Then there is no need for killing. There is no need for ending up. There is no need for, in a way, the destruction of a soul. Maybe this is how we understand. Maybe we understand more about the process of creation and how real creation works, and how we lead to our creation and the Creator, and how we can go forward in the next step of the cycle of life. Maybe now, as knowledge occurs, you understand what has been said for years. You do not need to kill, but you need to learn how to live in the dimension of the universe and not in the dimension of physicality of the man. Then we understand more and more. We understand what the real life is about. And does life mean in a physical dimension, or does life mean in the dimension of the universe? Does it mean we actually never die because we become that star in that position in the cell of the structure of the physicality of the life of the universe? Then in this process, if you understand this, you come to a new dimension, a new understanding that man in the dimension of the fields of the universe never dies. It's an everlasting life. It's just understanding where the life is and how the life is and how it was created, and it never ends. Those who look for a fountain of youth and everlasting life have not understood. They have already came from another life dimension fields, and they will transfer through to another, through the soul of the man, to another dimension. So we never die. We are part of the structure of the creation and the Creator. And the Creator never dies. If the Creator has a cycle of ending, so shall be all which has been created within it. It's not just for man. And then we understand we are part of a much bigger process that we have not even understood. But gradually we can see the bigger structure as it's not just a galaxy in our position. Maybe in the future, when our scientists can look deeper into the galaxy, into the universe, and the universe, say, oh, we are a cell in the kidney of the Creator in that position. Then we understand the whole structure of the creation. We are very good in mapping every cell, how they look, how our DNA looks, and everything else. The future scientists map the DNA of the creation and the Creator. And it's not very far from the structure of the DNA of the man. I made man in the image of myself. And then we understand how to communicate, how to connect our RNA into the universal fields and what life means and how it takes shape. And then, as a human, we find out that we have just started learning about the creation, about life. And then we understand all diseases of today will not exist. All diseases of today cannot exist. Because the disease is in the brain of the man and in the emotion and not in the physicality of the dimension of existence of the man on this planet. This is why we create psychosomatic condition. As I told you in the past few weeks, we brought the next dimension to it. What about your environment? And then your psychology. And then what it does to your physicality. This is a new understanding. And if we understand this, we move to the next step. We understand more about ourselves. And we understand more about our connection to our universe, to our collective structure of the creation. Then we become part of the universal community, because if that patch in that part of the universe is not covered, if the energy has not received by that cell of the kidney of the universe, by soul of the man which is there, it lives as a point of dimension, then that misfunctioned, and there cannot be no imperfection in the world of the Creator. Now you understand how life is, how everything is connected to each other, but due to the lack of understanding of us and misguided those who call themselves scientists, we have become narrow-minded just to look in our pocket, but where in fact we are in the pocket of the bigger structure ourselves. Then this brings an end to all the fallacies of the last day, the promised day, and the rest of it. There is never been, there shall never be the promised day. Is one to another, and that'll be that day. Today you're a soul in the body of the man here, and by departure you become part of the structure of the soul of the unicorns to patch that wound, that crack, that meteorite or universal light which came to the universe of man and needs a puncture to be repaired. Then everything in life has a time, destination, and a point. This is then you understand why we chose the universal councils, why we chose the earth councils, why we brought in the structure of the satellite souls and the rest of it. You work on a physical dimension. We bring a new dimension using the physicality of the man to connect to the dimension of the universe. In a way, link it up where the link was missing. I hope I open your eyes to the dimension of life. Life as a holistic life of your soul, which is part of the structure of the universe, not life as part of the physicality, which is part of the structure of this planet. And then we understand what the next step be if we are not prejudiced, if we are not misguided if we are not narrow-minded, just to keep to understand what is here. I leave the rest to my soul when I'm gone. Then you find out you have a lot to learn to get to that point. I hope, as usual, I open another door, a crack in the wall, that it brings down all the misguided understanding of the past, and you become to enlighten yourself. If you listen, which is beautiful every time I hear it, to the disclaimer of every teaching, embedded in it, in the word of it, in the ethos of it, it keeps on telling you, this is individual cases. It's your job to investigate independently, to peer review if what they did suits me, if it's correct to me. It's not just for your illness, it's for the illness of your mind, your understanding of your own world of creation. And then you understand, even each intro gives you what I call independently, you decide. Does this fit me? Do I understand it? Where I missed? And does it go according to my intelligence? This is why we never have a peer review, because in the word of the disclaimer, it's your job to investigate to your understanding. And it befits you.